Greetings, one and all, and welcome to episode number 68 to Thoughts and Hunches, making money in bunches and sucker punches. Your boy Stoney is thrilled to be back, and I'm just glad to be back doing all this again. And I'd like to welcome all of my favorite hoodlums, scumbags, lowlifes, cheats, hustlers, fienders, degenerates, and all you foul-mouthed raging alcoholics to season 3, episode 1. We made it to our third season and we are ready. Last season we broke records left and right, top-notch numbers across the board. Let me start by doing what I do every season. I did it with the very first episode, and I did it with the first episode of season 2. Start with a disclaimer. This podcast, vlog, whatever you want to call it, if you're following it to make money, don't. Change the channel or keep watching and go get a job. That's my advice to you, right? What I'm doing here is I'm giving you my selections for who I like in the coming weekend's games. Last year, like I said, broke records. I was top notch. Anybody that can tell you that any very good gambler, 58%, 59% is solid. That's what you're looking for. That's what you're seeking. Last year, here are some of the numbers. NCAA postseason basketball, 73-48-1, 60.33%. NCAA regular season, 176 wins, 131 losses, 1 push, 60.9%. NFL playoffs didn't do so well. 14-12, 53.89%. Still winning though. NFL regular season, this is where we just took off and rolled all season long. 151 wins, 85 losses, 63.98%, just under 64%. I challenge anybody to do that. And we picked every single game of every single week throughout the season except for the Thursday night games. But this year, we've got a caveat. We will be giving you every Thursday night game a week in advance because, again, all videos are posted on Friday night. Continuing on, bowl season last year, 45-27, 62.5%. Yep. NCAA football regular season, we took a step back last year. 137, 102 pushes. Good enough for 57.8%, which is solid, but NCAA football is usually, along with NCAA basketball, my bread and butter, and it's usually what gives me more money in your pocket. And finally, our totals. Overall, for the entire season, this includes basketball, this includes MLB playoffs and everything last year, 622 wins, 400 losses, and 6 pushes. That's 60.86%. Best season, not only in the 3 years of doing Thoughts and Hunches, but this is dating back to the blog days, to those of you who read my blog in the 5 years that I did the blog. So technically this is like season 8. But anyway, the last time you saw me, I was giving you the winners of the NCAA Basketball National Championship, which was the first Monday of May. It's always the first Monday of May. I gave you both sides. You hit both sides with Kansas beating North Carolina and hitting the under. It was a beautiful thing. That's how we ended the season strong, and going to do the same thing again this year. Every Friday, going to post a video throughout the season. Now, as the schedule changes, there will be certain days that I might have to post on Wednesday, Thanksgiving week, and whatnot. But during NCAA tournament week and college championship week during March, it gets crazy. So I start amping them up and giving you more than one video a week. So, but anyway, for the meantime, during football season now, into late October, into November, when college basketball starts taking off, expect one video every Friday night. If you haven't subscribed yet, click down the bell down the bottom right-hand corner. Subscribe to the video. So this way, every time I post a video, you'll be notified and you'll know right away. So you ready? Are you ready for some football? Everybody goes crazy over this. And oh my God, it's just so tired, right? All you NFL freaks that lost your mind and oh my God, I can't wait. NFL's still 2 weeks away. We have week 0 of college football and next week's week 1 of college football before NFL even gets going. So there's a lot of action that can happen before we even begin to get to the NFL. So week 0 was created a couple seasons ago. It creates some pretty interesting matchups. Next weekend, we'll have some very big-time matchups. You have the Chick-fil-A kickoff game. You have all kinds of games going on in neutral sites featuring top teams. Tomorrow, Saturday, the first game out of the chute in week 0 is being played in Ireland. You got to love it. It's just, we're back. That's all, I mean, this is the time of year where you can, if gambling is legal in your state, you can take your money, deposit it into your account, and start firing. Because this is it. All summer long, everybody got bored with the NBA, the playoffs that last 3 months, the MLB, which I'm watching right now. Everybody likes to bet football, right? And college basketball are the two biggies, which is why that's what I give you. I won't give you any baseball picks, but come October, I will give you certain games of the playoffs, and I will give you picks for every playoff series through the World Series and which teams I like. So anyway, let's get to it. What do you say? We start with week 0 tomorrow. Now, again, keep in mind, making this video on Friday, August 26th. Tomorrow, week 0, excuse me. I still can't get used to that. But week 0, we kick it off tomorrow. Like I said, in Dublin, Ireland. Lansdowne Road Stadium. This is going to be a good one. We got a Big Ten, right? Well, not really a rivalry matchup, but a matchup of two Big Ten teams. Both of them coming off very disappointing years. Both teams lost their last 6 games in 2021. Let me give you the numbers first of all. Nebraska is 11.5-point favorites over Northwestern. This game is at 12:30 p.m. Eastern time, and it'll be televised by Fox. I will also give you what channels these games will be on as we go on throughout the season. So Nebraska 11.5-point chalk over Northwestern. Again, both teams lost their last 6 games of 2021. Nebraska's last win was a 56-7 blowout of Northwestern last season in Lincoln. Now, they're going over the pond. They're going to the United Kingdom to play this game, and it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a lot of fun just to see the crowd's reaction, to see how many Nebraska supporters make the trip, because Nebraska is known for traveling well. They always do. So it's going to be fun. Scott Frost, head coach at Nebraska, hot seat, period, right? He's back on the hot seat again. He has to get to at least a bowl game this year, right? It's his 5th season. He hasn't turned anything around. He hasn't done anything down there, and there's a lot of fans in Husker Nation that are calling for his head, that have been calling for his head for a while. So he needs to win, and he needs to win now. Northwestern, on the other hand, they seem to be on this trajectory of every other season. Now, you look at last season, right, where they went 3-9, and some of you might say, well, that's Northwestern. That's what they do. That's what they are. Well, yeah, but the year before, they won the Big Ten West. 2 years before that, they won the Big Ten West. You think of Northwestern, and you think of this smart institution. You don't think of a college football powerhouse, but they've won the Big Ten West 2 of the last 4 seasons. Now, I'm not going out on a limb and saying they're going to win it this year, but they're going to be very improved, right? Nebraska has Scott Frost brought in new offensive coordinator, right? He brought in quarterback transfer. That's the other thing. You're going to get a lot of transfers. College basketball and college football, both of them have changed. College athletics have changed so much because of the transfer portal now that it's damn near impossible to keep track of who transferred to what team. Once you get to about week 3 or 4, then you can start to kind of see, right? But week 0 is always tough. Week 0 and week 1 are very, very tough to handicap. But we're going to fire away. Anyway, Texas quarterback Casey Thompson transferred. He's now under Scott Frost's watchful eye in Lincoln. He's going to be the quarterback. And he's going to have to move the football. He's going to have to move this team up and down the field. Northwestern last year had a terrible defense. So getting players back might not be the best thing, but they did bring in some transfers. Plus, their better players are now a year older, right? They do run the ball. That's one thing they always do. They do it very well. Fitzgerald loves to run the ball. And Northwestern's always a tough out. And at 11.5 points, it's just too many. And I'm going to take Northwestern and start off the season hopefully with a W. We're going to take the Wildcats plus 11.5. Nebraska wins, but Northwestern covers game 1. Game 2, we move on. 4 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow on the Big Ten Network. Illinois minus 13 against Wyoming. Wyoming heads into Champaign to take on the Fighting Illini. Excuse me. Wyoming last year went 7-6. Not bad. They beat Kent State in the Idaho Potato Bowl. Their junior running back, Titus Smith, is the man. He's going to be the guy who's going to get the ball, and he's going to get the ball early and often. And he's going to have to turn into a workhorse for the Cowboys if they anticipate on having a really good season. The defense is very weak, and it will be their undoing this year, that's for sure. Illinois, on the other hand, Brett Bielema is now in his second year as the head coach. Tommy DeVito is the quarterback over last year. It was Arthur sitcom, and Bielema likes to run the football. They're not going to throw the ball a lot. They will, but he likes Tommy DeVito's arm. He likes his mobility, but they're a run-first team. It's what Brett Bielema did at Arkansas. It's what Brett Bielema did at Wisconsin. And with running backs like Chase Brown and Josh McCray, 2 big, bruising tailbacks that are going to get the ball and just keep running. Expect the ball to be on the ground from both sides in this game. But Illinois at 13, it just doesn't seem like enough. I see Illinois winning this one, winning it comfortably, running away with it late to the tune of maybe a 3-touchdown win. So Illinois, lay the 13 and take your W. Moving on, 3 p.m. Is this right? Yes. Sorry, I got to change pages here. 3 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow in Logan, Utah. Utah State, 26.5 point favorites over UConn. The Huskies come in as a joke. Let's face it. Utah State is legit. UConn is not. UConn for the last decade has just been god-awful, right? Jim Mora is now their head coach. Yes, that Jim Mora. No, not the playoffs, but his son from UCLA and from the 49ers. He knows what he's in for. This is a god-awful program, and he's going to build it from the bottom and build it up. And he will. Now, how well he does, that remains to be seen. Now, they're 26.5 point dogs in Logan on the road to start off the season. Utah State won the Mountain West last year, finished the season strong, had a very good year, and they're going to win this game easily. They're going to win this game going away. But here's why I'm leaning towards UConn plus all those points. The Utah State plays Alabama next week. So once Utah State gets up by 3 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns, even 5 touchdowns, you better believe they're going to take their foot off the gas and they're going to chill because, oh, we don't want Nick Saban to see our plays. Please, Nick Saban's going to crush you by 4 touchdowns next week. But in the meantime, that leaves the back door wide open for UConn to walk right through. So we're going to take UConn. We're going to take the 26.5 and roll with the Huskies. Moving on, 6 p.m. Eastern time, Boca Raton, Florida. Florida Atlantic, 7.5 point favorites over Charlotte. This is going to be a good matchup right here. Willie Taggart starts his 3rd season at Florida Atlantic after he took over for Lane Kiffin, who left Florida Atlantic and moved on to Ole Miss. Well, Taggart has gone 10 and 11 since. All right, he didn't turn around Florida State like he thought he would, and some people thought he would. He overhauled his entire coaching staff this year. So all new coordinators coming in and everything. Solid defense, but many question marks on offense as to how they're going to move the football. Charlotte, on the other hand, they also have a head coach entering his 3rd season, and Will Healy. And Healy is not doing too well. 7-11, right, in the 2 seasons he's been there. But he does have a strong defense coming back that's returning 7 starters. Quarterback Chris Reynolds is very dependable, and he has 3 top wide receivers that transferred in. Well, 2 of them transferred in, and one of them's a holdover. But he has weapons that he can use to expose Florida Atlantic's weakness in their secondary. If you want to take a flyer in this one, I'm suggesting take Charlotte on the money line. They're at plus 225, so it's a fantastic value. I'm going to tell you to take Charlotte plus the 7.5. It just seems like too much of a number for the Owls to cover. We're going to roll with the 49ers here, take the points. But again, if you want to take a flyer on the money line, please, by all means, go ahead. 9 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow night. Las Cruces, New Mexico. Nevada, the Wolfpack come in. They're 8.5 point chalk at New Mexico State. New Mexico State gets former Minnesota head coach Jerry Kill as their new head coach, and boy, does he have his work cut out for him. New Mexico State's a glorified high school team. That's all they are. And not even glorified. I mean, they've been awful. 2-10 last year. They returned 3 out of their 22 starters from both sides of the football. So it doesn't look good. Jerry Kill is in the exact same position as Jim Mora is in UConn. A massive rebuilding job. And Kill says he's going to do it. And he's in for the long haul. But nobody goes to New Mexico State for the long haul. They're in trouble. They're in trouble, and they're going to be in trouble tomorrow. Nevada has a new head coach now, Ken Wilson, right? They're only returning 3 offensive starters, right? But they have 2 wide receivers that transferred in from Power 5 schools. And let's face it, it's Nevada, right? Nevada can always score. Yes, they've had their issues, and head coaches and quarterbacks are coming and going. But Ken Wilson appears to know what he's doing. He's a defensive-minded coach, and he's got strong coordinators. So I'm going to take Nevada. I'm going to lay the 8.5 here. New Mexico State, I'm just not buying it. Sorry. Sorry. No can do. And finally, tomorrow night, Saturday night, August 27, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, CBS Sports Network. The Degenerate Special. Yes, you're welcome. You're welcome, Cam. It's back. That's right. By popular demand, the Degenerate Special is back. The Degenerate Special is the break-even game, the Degenerate Special, whatever you want to call it. It's the last game on the board of Saturday. It's the game that if you had a miserable day and lost all your games all day long, you can still break even to get your money back to fire away on the NFL on Sunday. Well, the Degenerate Special tomorrow night, believe it or not, is an interesting one. 9:30 p.m. in Stony Lulu on the island of Oahu in Hawaii. Vanderbilt, the Commodores, from my town of Nashville, they head out to Hawaii to take on the Rainbow Warriors, and they're laying 9.5. Yes, I said that correctly. Vanderbilt is 9.5 point favorites. Stop. Let that sink in. Vanderbilt, 9.5 point favorites. The same Vanderbilt team that went 2-10 last season, right? Clark Lee is in his second year as head coach. He wasn't awful last year. Wasn't good. They're the worst team in the SEC. And the problem is when you score 15 points a game and you allow 35 points a game, that says more about the conference than anything else, right? Just like I said earlier, there's academic schools and there's athletic schools. Vanderbilt, clearly an academic school. They'll never be a football powerhouse, although they were starting to get there when James Franklin was here. But they went 2-10 last year, but they are returning plenty of players, okay? Here's the thing. The players that are returning are value, right? And they have tons of speed. So this team is going to run, and they're going to keep going, and they're going to come at Hawaii. Now, the game opened at 6, and it's now the Sharps have bet it all the way up to 9.5. No, Cruz, your money did not move the line. It was mine, right? I bet heavy on Vanderbilt, and I've kept betting them. Now it's all the way up to 9.5, but I still like Vandy, and I'm still laying the points. And here's why. Everyone else likes Hawaii. Everybody, right? Oh, Timmy Chang is the head coach now. Remember Timmy Chang? He set NCAA passing records in Hawaii. Sure. But he's never coached. Well, he's never been a head coach. Hawaii was a disaster, right? Plain and simple. Todd Graham was 11-11 in his 2 seasons at Hawaii and left in disgrace after players and coaches and media and parents and everybody was complaining about misdoings. Is that even a word? Wrongdoings. Just everything that could go wrong went wrong, and they actually brought in the Hawaii Senate to adjudicate the matter, and Todd Graham's out. Todd Graham is long gone, so they bring in Timmy Chang. Now, what happened was once Todd Graham was out, that led to a mass exodus of transfers, right? Just insane. Now, the numbers are kind of staggering. From what I hear, they're only returning 3 players out of 55 or 60 or 70, whatever the NCAA number is, the maximum number that you can have, but only 3 players returned. Everybody left. Everybody from the water boy to the quarterback to the kicker to the entire staff. So Timmy Chang comes in, and talk about somebody that's got his work cut out for him. Now, but still, Vanderbilt has no business being 9.5 point favorites. No way. Absolutely not. Yes, they do. Hawaii is in complete shambles. Take Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt will be up by a touchdown, and they'll get a late touchdown to cover the number. They'll win by 2 touchdowns, and you'll be thankful that I hit the first Degenerate Special of the year. So there's your 6 plays for tomorrow. All right? Now, as we look forward to next week, Thursday and Friday are very, very busy days for college football. The following week we'll have NFL, but next week there's college football on Thursday, a lot of games on Thursday, a lot of games on Friday too. Now again, since I'm doing my video on Friday night, I'm going to give you my picks for next week's Thursday and Friday games, the ones that I like. Okay, so we're going to start Thursday night, September 1st. This is a 7 p.m. start on ESPN, and it's at what used to be known as the Giant Ketchup Bottle. It's now Acrisure Stadium in Pittsburgh, but it's an old school rivalry. It's West Virginia versus Pitt. Remember the Backyard Brawl? The Backyard Brawl was always a very good, very interesting matchup for years. Sorry, I'm watching the Giants and Twins right now. But it was a good matchup for years, right? Pitt was good. West Virginia was good. They had some very good battles over the years. Well, after an 11-year hiatus because teams moved and changed conferences, they're back. This time it's in Pitt. It's going to be fun. Pitt is a 7-point chalk, and they come in with a ranking of 17. Yes, this is the Pittsburgh Panthers that we're talking about. We're not talking about Jamie Dixon's basketball team either. But Jamie Dixon, there's one to make you think for a little bit, no? Anyway, Pitt. They won the ACC last year, okay? Pat Narduzzi is the man. He knows what he's doing. He's a hell of a coach. Everybody likes him. But here's the deal. Most people think that they overachieved last year based on two players, period. Quarterback Kenny Pickett was a Heisman finalist. He had a fantastic season. He's now a Pittsburgh Steeler. And Biletnikoff winner, wide receiver Jordan Addison. Between those two right there, their offense was just putting up massive numbers where for years Pittsburgh was a running team focused on defense and running the football. Remember LaShawn McCoy, right? And all that, they run the football. That's what they do at Pitt. And, well, with Pickett and Addison last year, they're gone now, right? So who does Narduzzi have now? Keydon Slovis. Remember that name? Yes. Again, the transfer portal just screws everything up. Well, Keydon Slovis, formerly of USC, who had a very good freshman year and then fell out of favor over there in LA. He transfers in and he takes over for Kenny Pickett as Pittsburgh's starting quarterback. Pitt has a very good defense, a plus defense, one of the best defensive lines in all of college football. Right? But now against West Virginia, right? Things are going to be interesting against West Virginia because it's a rivalry game, okay? Well, we all know this. Now, you think that Keydon Slovis being a transfer there was one thing. How about quarterback J.T. Daniels for West Virginia? Yes, another USC quarterback. They all left, right? They transferred, and now they're facing off in week 1. Two guys that were battling for the same job just a couple years ago will now be meeting tomorrow. Next Thursday. Graham Harrell, remember him? Texas Tech, broke a lot of records. He's been an offensive coordinator the last couple of years and has been putting up very good numbers. Well, now he comes in, new offensive coordinator at West Virginia. They have 7 players returning on a very formidable defense. West Virginia has changed their mechanics over the years. Yeah, they struggled last year, but they have a very good defense returning. 7 points is a big number. I think this is going to be a brawl, like it says, backyard brawl. Pitt may win, but they ain't going to cover. So I'm going to take West Virginia, and I'm going to take West Virginia and take the 7 points. Moving on, also on Thursday night, next Thursday, this is September 1st, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, Fox Sports 1, Stillwater, Oklahoma. Oklahoma State is at home, 21-point favorites over the Central Michigan Chippewas. Oklahoma State, Mike Gundy, right? Mike Gundy. Everybody knows Mike Gundy. A lot of people don't like Mike Gundy. Here's the thing. he's coming off his best season ever in Stillwater, and they were literally 1 yard away from not only winning the Big 12 championship against Baylor, but they were quite possibly going to make the college football playoff because they were ranked 5th when that happened. And most people thought that had they won and had they beat Baylor in the Big 12 championship, they would have gotten an invitation to the college football playoff, where they would have got killed by Georgia anyway. Or actually was Alabama, because they were number 1 going into the playoff. Well, anyway, the thing about Oklahoma State, all right, quarterback Spencer Sanders, right? He's back. Now, he turns the ball over a lot, right? He had 13 touchdowns to 11 interceptions, right? He doesn't really inspire a lot of confidence, but he is back, and this is a different Oklahoma State team than the ones that we used to see from back in the day with Mike Gundy throwing the ball all around the football. No, Oklahoma State runs the football, and they play defense, and it's just a totally different mindset that Gundy has gone with, and it's working, right? Now, last year, a lot of people thought that they were overvalued. I was one of them. I bet against them in 6 straight weeks. While they kept winning, they weren't covering. They don't have that killer instinct. They can't put teams away. Twins lead 2-0. It's just one of those things where the defensive-minded team that likes to run the football. Now, Central Michigan, on the other hand, they come in. They went 9-4 last year, right? And they're also returning their quarterback in Daniel Richardson, who had a solid year in the MAC last year. Well, and the way that Oklahoma State's methodical, taking their time, CMU wants to get up and down the field, and that's what they do. So 21 points, 3 touchdowns is an awfully big number. Now, don't get me wrong. Oklahoma State wins this game. I have no illusions of Central Michigan going into Stillwater and taking a W away. That's not going to happen. But I do like the Chippewas, and I'm going to take the number. 21 points, too many. Take Central Michigan. Moving on. Thursday night, 8 p.m. Thursday night, September 1st, 8 p.m. on Fox. Big Fox. Penn State heads to Purdue. Penn State, 3-point favorites. This one's played in West Lafayette. Another very good, solid Big Ten matchup to start the season. Purdue can't run the ball, period. They just can't run. They will throw, and they will throw early and often. Quarterback Aiden McDowell, he likes to throw the ball, and that's how they control tempo. They control it with short passing and downfield passing. They like to move the ball. Now, Penn State on paper is just a better team, period. Sean Clifford, the returning quarterback, returns 2 top-tier wideouts and a very, very good defense that is going to have to do whatever they can to slow down Purdue and not chase Purdue. Now, the number kind of raised a few eyebrows. Well, how's Purdue only 3? How's Penn State only 3? Well, people forget how Purdue finished the season last year on a roll, and they just were beating everybody in their path. Well, Purdue can win this game. They're at home, and they can steal a W. This isn't a top 10 Penn State team, but James Franklin will get it done. I'm going to the smart play here. I'd rather lose with Penn State than lose with Purdue. So I'm going to take Penn State and lay the 3. Moving on to Friday, next Friday, September 2nd, 7:30 p.m. in Durham, North Carolina. Duke is at home and 7-point favorites over Temple. Duke has a new head coach in Mike Elko. He takes over the worst defense in the nation. Now, he's been good and he knows defense and he's done well that everywhere he's been. And he does get a very good veteran offensive line filled with upperclassmen. All 5 of them are back. But they're going to have to score a lot because their defense is going to be atrocious as it was last year. They had the worst defense in the nation. The worst. From top to bottom, any way you want to look at it, Duke was just awful. Now, they are 7-point chalk here against Temple, who gets new head coach Stan Drayton. Stan Drayton runs football. That's what he does. He wants to pound away. But with the team that he has, the team that he's inheriting, right? They're going to be able to put it up, and they have targets, right? Georgia transfer quarterback Dwan Mathis, he comes in as part of the transfer portal, and he has 2 or 3 very talented wide receivers to throw to, and Temple's solid defensive line with size in their secondary is going to be enough to keep Duke at bay, right? But it's not going to be one of those 41-38 games. It could be, but even if it is, I'll take Temple. I'll take the 7. Give me the dog. Give me the Owls plus the 7. Finally, the last game for next Friday. No, this is not a degenerate special because it's a Friday game. So this is part of week 1 action, not week 0. So 10 p.m. Eastern Time, ESPN matchup in Boulder, Colorado. You've got TCU heading into Boulder as 10.5 point favorites. These two teams basically flip-flopped, right? Colorado basically took TCU's spot. TCU took Colorado's spot, and that's what TCU took Colorado's spot out of the Big 12 when Colorado left to go to the Pac-12. Anyway, Colorado quarterback Brendan Lewis comes in, and he's solid. He's a good quarterback. He's returning, but he's going to be running for his life. His offensive line led the nation in penalties last year, and they had a tough time running the football all season. Now, he does have capable playmakers coming out of the backfield that he can swing the ball through, and he has a couple wide receivers that can take the top off of defense. So expect them to take some shots downfield. TCU, on the other hand, they have a plus defense. Now, it's, everybody knows Patterson for years. He built TCU into what they are, right? And was, I don't want to say unceremoniously dismissed, but a lot of people were surprised when he was dismissed last year. And who do they bring in? They bring in the complete opposite of Gary Patterson, who built TCU on defense and special teams. He brings in Sonny Dykes, the one guy who everywhere he's been, whether it be, Lafayette, Cal, Hawaii, everywhere he does not believe in defense at all. Just doesn't care. Go ahead and score. We're just going to keep scoring. Score. It's what he does. Now, the good news is he brings in a very capable quarterback in Chandler Morris. And you know how Sonny Dykes likes to do it. He likes to score quick. He likes to score often. He's basically the Paul Westhead of college football. No defense, doesn't matter, right? Just keep scoring. So that's what TCU is going to try to do, and I think that's what they're going to do. Colorado's defense is good, but not good enough, and their offense is certainly not good enough to keep up with TCU once Chandler Morris gets into the groove and starts finding his outlet receivers downfield. So take TCU, lay the 10.5. That's your final pick of the week. That's 6 picks on tomorrow, Saturday, and 5 picks for next Thursday and Friday. So when I make next week's video on Friday, it's going to be 5 picks in already. So expect 25 picks of some nature next week. So that's it, 11 picks. But let's start with the 6 for this week. Week 0, I just gave you 6 picks. Love to go 4-2. 5-1 would be better, but I'll take 4-2. Absolutely, why not? So in the meantime, until next Friday, just remember, if you want to win big, you got to bet big. Scared money don't make money. To me, the action is the juice. There's money on the streets that can't be ignored, and good luck to you, and welcome back.